I really enjoy the 90s style animation personally. There's a certain charm of it that it feels a little bit gone today in the modern animation era.
Welcome back to another film review from Two to Reel. I'm one of your hosts, Austin.
I'm your other host, Richard.
We watched Perfect Blue for the first time. This is a movie that came out back in 1997, 1998. It's an anime Japanese psychological thriller directed by Satoshi Kon. Rich and I are here to discuss it. We'll give you spoiler-free thoughts for the first 10 minutes. We'll get you possibly interested in the movie. And then after that, we'll give you a spoiler warning and go into full discussion mode.
Yep.
So Perfect Blue, we watched this. Our buddy Harry recommended it. And when you know you're getting a Harry recommendation, you know the movie's a little fucked up.
Yeah. It's at least really good, but you also know it's going to be messed up in the head.
Yeah, yes. It's to get people the vibe of this. It's a psychological thriller. How would you pitch this movie to somebody? So first off, what is the plot? What are the basic things to get somebody invested and so they know what it's about?
So the plot is about a former Japanese idol and
pop idol, singer.
Pop idol, yes. So she decides to go on a new career path, or is basically pushed into not becoming an idol but an actress. And as she is doing this, she is coerced into doing things that she does not want to do, but feels pressured into doing so, and falls further and further into madness, while also some type of stalker event, like you are afraid for her safety. Something nefarious is happening around her. So that's enough. I think I can give him that much, right?
Yeah.
That's fair.
This stalker is looking into her, and we're talking about late 90s internet as well. I like how they incorporated it kind of made me feel a bit nostalgia about the old interwebs where you could do HTTPS : what is that? What's that like? And so we have this character who is being forced into another career path that's put upon her, and she has this obsessive fan that you see in the very early shot of the film who has something to say or doesn't like the path that she's taking into this new career. And the movie touches upon a lot of themes such as celebrity culture, fandom culture, and identity. So any of those things that you're interested in, it's a very thoughtful movie, and there's a lot to discuss in the end. This is the third review we've done on this channel, and so far all three movies have all had the plot threads of which you don't know what's real and what's not real. I'm seeing that as a common thread in a lot of the movies we've seen recently. And this movie, you're going to be questioning a lot of the times what is happening there. So be prepared for that. I want to make sure if anybody hasn't seen this film, so you're going in with the correct expectations. If you have seen the film Black Swan with Natalie Portman, that's a 5-star for me. Love that film. If you've seen Black Swan, it was very much inspired off of this movie, Perfect Blue, and has similar themes. So if you any movies you would say if you've watched this, then watch Perfect Blue?
I mean, Black Swan was the one I would say.
Yeah.
Black
Swan's the big one. And otherwise, so what other people online, this is one of the more highly acclaimed films in anime, not just anime, but highly acclaimed animation films. I believe it has an 8.0 on IMDb, but I don't love going to IMDb because everything's an 8 or up, or a high 7. It's hard to tell what's actually good there. Have you seen any online thoughts about this or had any expectation going in to watch the movie of, I know it's highly acclaimed, or were your expectations high going in at all?
Going into the film? No.
Nothing at all.
I've heard it mentioned a handful of times, but anything substantial. The only expectations I had is Harry recommended it, and so fair enough.
That gives you exactly the expectations you need.
Exactly. I had relatively high expectations.
Yes.
But no, this was a really really great movie. I'm glad we saw it, and definitely an odd choice for our third film. Like we had options of like newer films, and we're not. Nah, 1990s anime film. Let's do that one instead.
It's the remastered and came back in theaters. So
Yeah.
we watched this in theaters just yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we were like, oh, why not? Yeah. What was your spoiler-free rating for the movie, Rich?
spoiler-free rating is overall a 4.25. Really great film. Really great. I think this definitely is a film that is greater than the sum of its parts. Definitely. Some key aspects here. For me, the enjoyment of the film, I didn't really get it until I'd say almost halfway through the film, maybe. Because at a certain point, you think it's one type of film, and then it switches. At that switch, I started to become really invested in it. So those are my thoughts. From that point on, totally invested.
I also gave it a 4.25. Really great movie, and yeah, it is the sum of its parts for me, maybe. But we'll see what we gave the individual. You can see our individual category breakdown down below here of what did we give the film. If you want to see how rating system works, check out the description below as well for that. I think the best part about this movie was the thought provokingness and the themes involved. That was what I rated the highest. What did you rate the highest?
I rated the highest the plot.
Plot, okay, I could see that too. Yeah. Would you give the lowest?
The lowest I gave the dialogue.
Same here. Yes.
Now, how much of this is a translation barrier?
Exactly.
We're watching the sub, so I would take that category with a grain of salt from us.
Major grain of salt. Yeah.
So that's the biggest caveat. So fully understand it, but that's our experience of it.
This is so if again your question to go watch this movie, because we're gonna go spoilers in a second here. The greatest thing I could say about this film is after you get out of the theaters, after you watch it, this is a discussion film. This is it's valuable to review and talk about this film because it has a lot to say. And I'll just leave it at that. Go watch the film if we convince you to go watch it. If you've already seen it, let us know what you think down below. And we'll get into the spoilers now. It's time.
Fantastic.
Spoiler warning. This is your chance to click off before we start talking Perfect Blue and emotional impact.
Fantastic.
Okay, what'd you give it out of 5 stars?
A 3.75. Really good. The reason why it's a little bit lower is my emotional investment into the film only started when Mina just started like not knowing what was real anymore. There's a midpoint-ish in the film where she thinks she actually killed somebody. And then it's take 2 and she's losing days. Mm-hmm. And that was the point. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a different type of film. I thought this was just going to be thriller. And that was it. Yeah. Of, stalker, okay, is she going to catch on? Is she going to avoid this creepy killer? Who knows? And then it became not that movie. And that's when I became emotionally invested. Before that, I was a little bored. But after that, many exciting moments. I'm constantly questioning what's real or what's not. And then finally, the ending is a really great reveal. I didn't see it coming. I don't know about you. Did the twist get you?
Which twist?
Yeah, that's fair. Rumi being the actual Mimi impersonator.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. No,
yeah, not at all. Not. But it makes so much sense, and it gave me that great aha, wonderful moment. Mm-hmm. So that's
the
why
payoff was worth it.
The payoff was definitely worth it. So I really enjoyed that aspect. What about you?
I gave this a 4-star, great overall. And so the psychological thriller aspect, the first half of the movie, I was invested though, and invested enough. I already knew going in that this was Black Swan-esque. I'd heard the comparisons. I knew Black Swan was inspired by this. So I went in knowing it was going to get trippy.
Gotcha.
And knowing the plot of Black Swan, I was expecting, okay, we're not going to know what's real, what's fake. When's this going to switch up? And so I knew that aspect of the movie. That was it. And so I would say the biggest moments for me for the emotional scenes, some of the horror scenes. So the elevator jukebox scene was one of the more harrowing ones. I really like how it was shot. And how the scene we're talking about is you have was it the director or screenwriter? I believe it was the screenwriter was alone in the garage and he just hears in the distance music playing. And he looks over and he shouts out loud saying, "Who's there?" Right? And no response. And you've seen this in movies before. It's just, okay, yeah, no response. But then you hear it getting closer. He opens up the elevator and the jukebox, I keep saying jukebox, the radio is just blaring at you. These loud sounds. And you think that's the reveal. It cuts again. You see him and he's dead. The next scene. Just the way that scene was done, very cool. Very, very cool for the thriller part. And the other scene that sticks out in my head is the assault scene on Mimi.
Which one?
Well, the first one. Yeah, the first assault scene where it was like hard to watch, and it was supposed to be hard to watch, and it's kind of just putting that right in your face of just how messed up this all is. And it was I felt exactly how the director clearly wanted you to feel of, look what's happening to Mimi, this identity crisis, and what she's having to do and being coerced to do, and who is she anymore, and look what you're making her. Everything being layered into that scene was...
I think what really made that scene was especially like the cut and like hold position.
Yes.
And everything stops, like they're moving the cameras. Like it just... Yeah, that was disturbing to watch.
Yeah. Even the actor playing the role there saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry." So he knows this is fake, but even the acknowledgement doesn't take away, oh, this is...
And how much is him just saying it? Because there's something off about it as well of, I don't know.
Yep. So those were the two scenes that stuck out the most to me. But overall, vibe-wise of the film, I was invested, I was interested, because I like that as well, that the movie had you constantly questioning, especially in the second half. Okay, what's the solution here? What's the puzzle? Is this real? Is this in her head? We get the answer at one point where it's a fake out answer where we think, oh, the TV drama she's playing, that she actually has multiple personality disorder. And this whole thing's actually happening in her head. And all of a sudden I'm going, oh, this movie makes sense. Identity crisis. She has multiple personality disorder. Aha.
She believes she's in a television show.
But actually.
Yeah. But then it's, haha, actually it is still a television show. Keep watching, viewer.
And it's just really close to her real life events.
The amount of fake outs is borders on the ridiculous. But I'm loving it. I love how every single scene is just poking the audience of like, haha, got you. Got you. I almost got it. And just constantly subverting your expectations.
I remember Harry telling us, and I'm not sure how true this is, but I liked his interpretation where the title Perfect Blue is purposely called Perfect Blue because the motif throughout the film is red, but it's called Perfect Blue to also subvert your expectations of go, oh, you thought red? Nope, blue.
There's not blue. There's not blue in this film. It's
but
all red.
I'm sure there's another explanation too, but I can't think of one. I mean, the blue.
There is some
emotional blueness,
cultural reference significance
I'm not getting
we're just going to miss as Americans.
Yes,
that's my guess.
Yeah. So you really enjoyed it overall. That first half didn't get you. The second half did.
Yeah, the first half is not bad per se. It's just the second half was significantly better. I was a tad bit bored by the first half, but not significant.
Well, the movie opened up with the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we getting ourselves into here? And it did not, let me just say, the movie did not end how you'd think an opening scene with Power Rangers would start.
Also, just how trippy this movie is. It gives you a solid ending of it doesn't give you the Inception ending.
No ambiguity.
Thank God. You know what? Sometimes I like ambiguity. Other times I'm just like, thank you for just telling me the answer. I appreciate it. I appreciate this film just saying like, nope, this is real. There is a somewhat happy ending. All right, go home.
Yeah,
I liked that.
My messed up mind. We can talk more about this in plot, but I almost wonder, would I have liked it more? So I get it. Okay, would I have liked it more if the ending was, no, I'm real, and then you see on the bottom of her face a little bit of a mask.
Oh, okay.
You know, and the more horror of, no, I'm real, and then you're kind of questioning, wait, is that her? Or is that
Rumi?
Rumi. Mm. And that's obviously a darker ending.
Yeah.
of she actually took over her body. And I'm going, because in my head too, I'm going, it's a Harry film. So obviously it's going to be the most messed up possible answer. That's what this movie did was it could have ended a dozen different ways that would have made sense. And bless you.
Thank you. Whew.
But do you agree with that? Of this could have went a lot of directions.
Yeah, there's plenty of movies out there where you go, man, ended perfectly. No other way it could have ended. Yeah. This movie could have ended in a variety of different ways, and they all would have worked.
That would have worked. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just liked this one.
Yeah. Anything else for emotional impact scenes? It's not that anything didn't really work. It was more so it took time for it to work for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was about it. And then even by the ending, I was very satisfied.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was floored or anything beyond it.
Yeah. We're close with this one. Okay. What about next category, thought-provokingness? Would you give that out of 5 stars?
4.0. I think it's great.
I gave this one a 4.5, spectacular. This is my highest category of the bunch. So we talked about it spoiler-free a little bit. Do you agree that those are the themes of it? It's celebrity culture, identity, those two ones first. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's... Oh, God, man. Something's making me sneeze in this apartment.
God... Did you just
okay,
fake? Did you fake me out like the movie does? Did you Well, you subverted me and the whole audience, just like Perfect Blue.
Oh God,
that was a well done subversion.
My nose is itchy. I thought I was gonna sneeze.
That is the movie basically. I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. I'm gonna cough. No, you thought I was gonna cough. Oh, I did not. Yeah.
But let's get into let's talk a little bit the easier one of celebrity worship culture, and
okay,
I have heard. Culturally speaking, Japan has had it like idol culture is very different than celebrity culture here in the West. Like it's similar, and they're always your crazies, but apparently it's a little bit worse, especially around like the purity of idols. Like idols, they have to live a certain life, and there's a degree of that parasocial relationship is almost cultivated in Japan. At the very least, maybe it was so, a little bit longer ago. Maybe it's a little bit better now. Versus the parasocial relationship in the West is generally discouraged. It is not to that same degree. You know what I mean? Of like, yeah, the media will try and get every little tidbit and detail out of it, but idol culture is a little bit more extreme. So it showed a light of that obsessive culture and how oppressive the audience really can be.
That parasocial relationship, which, how familiar are we with that, huh? I mean, we're not celebrities, no. So cannot relate to Mimi, definitely. But it is, you ever get that parasocial moment where somebody says something to you, and you're like, how do you know that? You're like, oh, you said it before. You're like, oh, you're right. I did say that on the internet.
Yeah. That is a weird feeling of meeting someone and then them knowing more about you than you know about them. Like you're meeting them for basically the first time. And then they go, oh yeah, you told the story about X, Y, Z. I'm going like, when did I ever tell you that? It feels weird. It's funky, but.
And in this case, we have the stalker who, what was their name? Let me make sure I get this right. Me-Mania.
Yeah.
And we actually find out Rumi's the whole mastermind behind all of this. But where this website's created, detailing every moment of Mimi's life and being obsessed with her and this idealized version of her. So you have this extreme fandom, this obsessiveness, and kind of projecting this perfect image of this celebrity and what you want them to be and who they are to you. And that's what's really touched upon here. And what about it was done well in this film or executed well in this film, do you think?
I like the direct direction of the film where Mimi being this perfect idol, and a lot of the idols is the whole aspect of purity. They're I think it's fairly well known that idols are not allowed to have, a boyfriend, because then the fans are upset because they, project their own feelings onto the idol. And same thing here. So the fact that Mimi stops being an idol, and then also not only does acting, but is also doing these nude scenes, and then goes through, like, is filmed doing a rape scene, is a model for other some nude magazine or something along the lines, just further and further falling from this purity angle that, the fans are just, this rabid fan is saying, like, oh, you're an imposter, the real Mimi would never do this. You've somehow you've corrupted her. And yeah, it's such a great way to show the difference between this idealized version and the actual real human being. And yeah, and that's not only that so it's one angle that the fan has that, the obsessed Mimi mania person. The stalker having that personality makes sense. What I liked even more was Mimi herself feeling the exact same way. She felt impure. She felt that she was betraying her own identity. And so she was now, in many ways, the fact that her and her stalker had almost the same illusion of this idealized form that she is betraying. I think that was really fantastically done. That aspect alone is like, on one level, just, some stalker projecting an idealized version. That's one thing. Interesting enough. I find it far more interesting that she herself had the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
And love, again, that it was taking place in the 90s internet.
Mm-hmm.
And this window of how kind of timeless that message is, because today, it's just, there's more internet.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
Also, cool was the wrong word. Interesting. I find it interesting. Very fucked up, but
needed to clarify that.
I just heard myself went, shouldn't say cool. Interesting is the better word.
I'll trust your authorial intent.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, and you see her identity crisis here, which makes it push even further, is the duo she left with the pop singers that she ended up leaving. They do well without her. They get a hit song in the top 80 or 90, 83, something like that.
Yeah.
And so it further just shows, she wasn't even needed there. Maybe this is who she's supposed to be. So she's getting pushed toward the direction of actress, but at the same time getting told that she's not meant to be. She's supposed to be this pop star.
But also that door is closed.
It's also closed. So
yeah.
Yeah, what was done more especially well, maybe this is just more the cinephile way of looking at it, of that whole second half of the movie being what's real, what's not, what's the illusion. I almost would have liked an ending like this as well, since there's a dozen ways to end this. Her having multiple personality disorder, and whatever they said in the movie, whatever the term is, her having that and this being an illusion in her head gave that message already. That could have been a great ending already. I was down for that being the end of the movie, going, oh my goodness, it puts everything together. It's a perfect answer, but no, it kept going after that and giving more details into the plot. But that scene, and then we get the end scene where she confirms to the audience, no, I'm actually real. How did you think that tied things up, of her saying, no, I'm real?
I mean, it just wraps it in a nicer bow. The fact that she does reveal that she gets out of it, I don't know. The whole movie the entire time you're spent, jerking the audience around of what's real, what's not. The fact that the ending actually just gives you a solid end, I think, is more preferred. I think there's something more interesting about a film that feels like it's like you understand it, and then the end leaves you suddenly like ambiguous. That I find far more, that's a better way to do an ambiguous ending versus the entire movie is mostly ambiguous and you don't know what's going on, and then you end not knowing what's going on. That just kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Like a reason why movies, I'm not giving any spoilers away, giving nothing other than just like Inception. I think Inception does a good job of, like, you think you know what's going on, the ending you go, oh, I'm not sure anymore. Like, that's a good way to do it. So I like how this ended with a more clear answer. But as far as multiple personality disorder and her identity crisis,
yeah,
why do you think that this was especially well done?
Yeah, so, well, same things what you said, but I liked that. Okay, the first thing was what you said with her also believing in the illusion and the identity crisis of actually feeling feeling the same kind of emotions that the stalker would be feeling, that she's supposed to be this person, and being just as deluded about everything. That part was great, but also her the stalker. So Kumi, what was her name? Correct? Rumi, who is her sister, if I have that correct.
You guys told me she was her sister.
I thought it was,
and a former idol. I did not catch that.
I thought it was her sister.
Correct me and
Let's see.
Help us out in the comments here. Did we get that wrong?
Sister.
Is Harry and Austin wrong on this one?
I'm double checking real quick. Maybe it's
Oh,
not.
that's right. The internet is
Yeah.
nice.
See, we could check this real quick.
Yeah.
I
I like just sitting in the ignorance until the comments tell me
Yeah,
something.
you know what? Comments will
differently.
tell us. It's
Yeah,
the
that's
internet's
better.
not working as efficiently right now.
Yeah.
But so Rumi having this obsession of wanting to be Mimi, but wasn't Rumi also the one pushing her in this new direction as well? Rumi was the one that was.
Well, that's the question.
Yeah,
I think that is more
why
of a
is she
plot.
doing that? Yeah.
It's a possible plot detail of, is it something she didn't? She seems to be fighting this direction. She didn't want Mimi to go down this path.
the certain scene she had to play.
Well, no,
Yeah.
even going down as an actor in the first place, she was resisting the other agent.
Yeah.
So, but was that an act? Was it deliberate? And who knows? But we could talk about that plot, really.
Yes.
But as far as the multiple personality and the shared delusion between Mimi, Rumi, and the stalker creep, the fact that all of them have this idealized version of Mimi, and that each of them interact with it in a different way. Of Mimi herself sees this idealized version of herself, constantly putting her down and going like, yeah, no, I'm going to live on, but like, you've ruined yourself. You've failed everyone. Like, all these paths are now closed to you. And that so she sees this aberration. Rumi sees herself as Mimi, and then the stalker feels this connection and has a romantic-esque relationship with the aberration that is Mimi. But I don't think he necessarily sees the aberration in the same way as everyone else. But they're all just as deluded about it.
He's the aberration is Rumi. So Rumi's actually convincing him that, hey, I'm literally me.
Yeah.
Get rid of the fake me. And convincing the stalker, because again, talking about celebrity culture, the fans will do anything for you. So it's kind of playing on this, that celebrity culture of the fandoms are obsessed. They're obsessed with this idealized vision of you, and they can worship you in a way where you could tell them to do whatever.
Yeah.
And this stalker did do that and would literally commit murders to appease this version of Mimi who he thinks is Mimi. So it's how those two themes interact throughout the whole film that really made me think. And your point about the ending, I would have probably preferred a more ambiguous ending here. That's why I didn't get the 5 for me. I would have liked something a little more, so possibly more ambiguous to what was the real version, what was the false version. This is what I think Black Swan does a little bit better. And again, neither here nor there, if they're both touching on the same thing, but Black Swan, when I leave that movie without spoiling anything, leaves me with a little bit more, wait, let's discuss what actually was the real story. Where this one is so clear cut of, I was asking what is the real story until the psych scene of where she goes back to visit Rumi, and we see that she's a famous actress now because as she walks out of the psychiatric facility, you hear the people going, wait a second, is that Mimi? Oh my God, is that the famous actress Mimi? So we know it's a time jump however many years in the future where she's clearly a successful actress, and she looks in the mirror, says, hey, I'm real, that I'm actually real. So it confirms for us that that whole story that happened to her was real trauma, and then modern day, this is her sister who's in a psych ward now because of what she did to her. That was how she started as an actress.
Isn't there something to be said though of you go this whole movie of seeing Mimi go through all of this trauma? Don't you feel a little happy that she got a happy ending at the end. Like, I appreciate that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, thank God she came out on the other side. Like, you like to imagine that despite everything of her not even wanting really to be an actress, not enjoying this path in life, wanting to go back to being an idol, that she did make something out of it and actually does seem to be enjoying her life in something. Like, don't you appreciate that to some degree of seeing this person go through all the trauma and the catharsis of them coming out the other side?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was one of the ways to end it too. Like I said, there's a lot of things flared in my head of where this could have gone.
No. I get you. Yeah. What you really mean is you wanted to see her suffer more. If like, no, it just honestly, she suffered and then like suffered more at the end.
Probably my perfect ending to this film would have been that Rumi was like, you see part of the mask at the end, and like her saying, "No, don't worry, I'm real," and then like a little flicker or something that has you question, wait a second, who is saying I'm real? Just a question, not saying it's Rumi, just there being the doubt of, is that Rumi or is that Mimi? And having that be the question to leave the audience with would not confirm to you it's Rumi, but the debate would then be, wait a second, is Rumi the one in there, the one that looks like Rumi? Is that actually our real actress? Did she successfully steal her identity? And that would have been the little twist on this that would have made me go, hold up now. So that I think would have been the preferable ending for me. But this was still a solid way to end it.
Fair enough.
But okay, anything else for thought-provokingness?
No, let's move on to characters.
Characters, what'd you give it out of 5 stars?
3.75. Really good.
I gave it a 4. Great.
Yeah, of course, Mimi being the standout character. She's the main character. But overall, I think the rest of the characters are serviceable. Most of the supporting cast, it feels very one note. And
wait, is it Mimi or Mima? Were we saying it wrong the whole time? I'm just making sure. Perfect Blue, main character's name is okay, character name. Just making sure we have it right. Mima. I think we were saying Mimi. Were we saying Mimi? It's Mima.
Yeah, so sorry, I thought it was Mimi and Rumi.
Rumi, Mima.
Got it.
Just to make sure we keep getting that right. So Mima, yes.
Apologies.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
We always get names wrong. Names and to the real don't go well.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mima,
yes,
is a very good character. The focus and attention's on her. The reason why I'm not particularly any higher is the rest of the characters. Most of the supporting staff is border on the ridiculous of the especially that agent that so first, the fact that a bomb blows up in his hand that was clearly meant for Mima, and then someone on the set is killed, and like directly closer, it's like and then he tells her, don't worry about it, this isn't some drama, like you're being a worrywart.
In the car when she's asking, hey, are these connected at all?
Yeah, it's like, that's ridiculous. They're a little ridiculous, but whatever, it's fine. So them, they're one note.
So the side characters.
Yeah.
The focus here being Mima, Rumi, and the Stalker. Stalker plays the Stalker.
I think the Stalker plays
that role.
They played the role really well.
Yeah.
They mostly don't talk except for the attempted rape scene.
They sweat a lot.
They do sweat a lot.
And that's how you get somebody to look deranged. Sweat, wide eyes, very...
Well, the asymmetrical face. No one likes asymmetry. You know what I mean?
A lot of the eyes were like on both sides, almost like fish. You
only saw mostly his one eye, and
others was kind of covered. Yeah.
Off center.
Mm-hmm.
You knew his face was asymmetrical.
Yeah.
And so, which therefore means evil, disturbed,
of course,
reject. That's what it means.
Obviously, right.
If you're not perfectly symmetrical,
if you're not Henry Cavill, are you even human? That's what the movie's saying.
That's what I'm hearing.
If you don't have the jawline of a god, then don't even become an actress in the first place. Because Mima's the feature here. of why was her character well done? Is there something about her that made her special to you? Because clearly you saw side characters just filled the roles.
Yeah.
What about Mima?
Plenty of great setup. I do like the film spent a good bit of time of showing the descent and how much she's being pushed into it, but it's a combination of factors. She really does enjoy her work as an idol, but aspires for more. Like it really isn't. And so there is good enough reason. She isn't just fully pushed into becoming an actress. Like, you see where she lives. She wants to improve in the industry. She wants to rise higher and thinks acting is the way to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be fine on its own, but it's the little breadcrumbs. It's the little bit of carrot. And so she's somewhat pushing acting, but she also does want to do it. She wants to rise on her own. And then the people around her forcing her to do more lewd scenes that she really is uncomfortable with doing, but she thinks that that's the only way to succeed, only way to grow, and realizing also that the door is closed behind her. Like, what is she? She's already quit the idol business. She's now an actress. If she turns down the scene, is she going to even get another scene?
Mm-hmm.
And so she feels like she's pot committed. She has to go forward with it, even if she doesn't want to. So I enjoy seeing that slow descend, then her just accepting it and accepting it part of herself. And that is really well done. I think it's done in a nice, slow, and careful way throughout the whole movie. And then, everything about that, then her split of not knowing what's real or not. I loved it because I was just so invested in her character. I felt so much sympathy for her.
Yeah, I like a lot of the shots, which we'll get into later, but she would be running in the final chase scene, and you see the fake Rumi running, and the flashes, basically off the reflection, you see the real Rumi chasing after her. You see those kind of scenes?
Yeah.
Same thing happens with Mimi of when she's looking in the mirror or she's looking off into the distance, she catches these flashes, and you see the stalker. A lot of the time we're questioning, is the stalker even real?
Yeah.
Is this a real character in the movie? Because she'll look over, think she sees the stalker, and then gone the next second. So is that a figment of her imagination as well? It so effectively gets across that this character seems... I'm questioning, is Mima deranged? Is she having delusions? Or is this all completely real? Which, again, the end answers that. But the fake out ending where she could have had multiple personality disorder, that was a complete possibility the whole film, because it made Mima looked crazy, and Mima is the victim here. So to make the victim look insane at the same time makes you both empathize and then go, wait, is she a killer? So I'm questioning the whole film, those two being juggled the whole time is making you so invested in Mima. And then her having her happy ending, you go, okay, here's the whole story. Got it. Mima was this. Her story, looking back now from the bird's eye view, is that was her identity change from pop idol to actress, and celebrity culture and parasocial relationships. This idealized version of what she was supposed to be made this identity change so difficult. And so it has this, again, kind of touching on message, but getting into the character of Mima. It's a great example, I think, of when you make a big change in life and that others want to either stop that or are not okay with that, and you also agreeing with that noise as well. So not just, again, she doesn't ignore everything and just go, no, I'm going to be me and change. I am who I am. She learns I am who I am after literally believing all the masses that she's hearing around her. Because how insane would you go if just you're changing something and everybody's telling you, Rich, you're not a podcaster. you're just not. Like, what you do is that this doesn't, everyone gaslights you into the internet's not even real. You think you and I talking right now is on a podcast? Rich, I'm lying. I don't post any of this. I've just been locking you in a room to talk, and I've been creating HTMLs that look like we get comments on on YouTube.
That's why you don't give me the sign-ins to all the YouTube channels. You just send me screenshots.
See, now everybody knows Rich is in this delusion. Is he even real? So that's what got me extremely invested in her. Of that, it did that very, very well. And then the side characters, just the side characters, you know. So that's where I think great overall Mima, and the example Mima puts in film for characters to follow, such as Natalie Portman's character in Black Swan. You then see how she inspired this archetype of character. So,
yeah, no, this is very different. But have you ever seen Gaslight?
No, but I want to. Yeah, where the term gaslight came from, right?
Yeah, I saw that movie because at one point my mother in high school was saying like, you should, it like heard me use the term, and it's like, you should know where that term comes from. And like, we watched the movie, and fantastic movie, like really well done. Really love it. I won't spoil anything for you, but we got to watch that sometime.
Cool. Let's review it.
Very much, again, like what's real and what's not movie. Yep. Obviously.
So next movie we're watching a straightforward movie. We're watching race cars.
No.
We're watching swords.
What is the
Death Stalker?
The Death Stalker.
Death Stalker.
I got to see that.
That keeps showing up in the theaters for its trailer. But yeah. Okay. Anything else for characters?
No. Very good. Mima's the best, obviously. Her descent into madness is incredibly well done.
Plot. What'd you get plot out of 5 stars?
This is my highest category of 4.5. Spectacular.
That's where I gave it 4.25. Really great.
Yeah. No. Despite the to me less invested in the beginning, I think ultimately by the end it had to be that way. Like by the end of the movie, I understood why the first half was far more grounded.
It justified itself.
It justified itself. It needed to be a little bit more. You needed to establish these characters. You need to make sure that Mima is actually real, and to make you question it. If you started questioning right from the beginning, there's a little like you wouldn't be as invested in, because if from the very beginning you're questioning what's real, what's not, then you wouldn't really care about Mima. You wouldn't care about her. So you have to first get invested into her, then start questioning everything. Is it real or not? And how that's handled is brilliantly done.
You have essentially the 2 plots going on here. Let's call it the A plot. Maybe I'm switching around the letters by accident. But you have the A plot of of her psyche, her real life stalker, murders happening. You know, the letter bomb, 2 people killed. She's trying to get killed. The whole Rumi versus her plot line. That's the A plot. Then we have the B plot of her acting career, of her going and doing this gig and playing in a role that's zanily similar to what's happening to her in her real life. So you have the overarching plot, the thing that we're most invested in. Then inside of that, you have the film shots, which I liked that B plot's there because it makes the whole thing even more scaled up to, is this real or is this not? Because having the similarities in the role she's playing, she's acting in the film we're watching in this TV. So a little bit of, I guess, inception there. But that being the B plot makes the A plot even better because it's constantly throwing more questions at you, making you more deluded. So that feels like a very necessary B plot. I like that was there. That's very justified. All this was well thought out to go, okay.
Well, especially by the end, it's very intentional. These aren't just weird questions that ultimately can never be answered, and it's ambiguous for ambiguous sake. And even the director doesn't know. That's not this movie. It is intentional. By the end, you can put the pieces together, and I think to some relative degree of certainty, understand the plot.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate, that this is a both thought-provoking, ambiguous film, but there actually are answers. It is real. The fact that, like, why all these murders eerily similar to the stuff that Mima is going through and her acting career? Well, it's because Rumi is the agent. She gets the scripts well before actual filming. So she could commit these murders, and she could inspire these murders before
how is
they actually
how is the
happen.
murder bloody shirts and clothes in her closet? Well, who has access to her room, and whose room is she actually in?
Yes. Which room at that point? But
Yeah.
to be fair, I think she is in her own room at that moment. So when
It's
she
put
goes
into her closet. Yeah.
and then why does she know? Like, she dreams that she's the one that kills the director, I believe, right?
Yeah, she dreams that she killed. Yeah, went into the house with a pizza person.
Yep. And so you go, and then the fact that that was actually real, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
You go, oh, did she actually do it? Well, no, she's dreaming about this because she acted in this scene. Like, that is the scene that she is acting in. So it makes sense why
She
she's
dreams
now,
that. It all makes
her
perfect sense.
acting and is part of what is causing her psychotic break.
And then we have her. She has the dream of her getting ran over by the car. You remember
Yeah.
that? Going back to the themes of this, the thought provoking this again of all the symbolism in the movie is also really well done and tied back to the point of the movie where Rumi, as she accidentally stabs herself, is going to reach for something and stabs herself with a glass shard. I think after that is when she goes into the street, right?
Yes.
And Rumi turns and you see the truck coming to run her over, which we're going, oh, wait, that's the same scene we saw in the dream from Mima's point of view. But as Rumi's looking there and puts her hands out, the trucks start to kind of look like spotlights on a stage. And so you're seeing Rumi, this celebrity, wanting to go out with this bang, this identity that she's overtaken. I even like that stuff of the plot intertwining back with.
Well, the fact that does she even see the truck at all? She just sees the spotlight. She sees the crowd. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So even that shot alone and that okay, great. Tying up more, adding back onto everything makes perfect sense there. And I like the little I guess I like the little bit of touches that we get as well through the how we have take 1, take 2, take 3, and she keeps coming back to her bed. I like the way that it kept bringing you back into, okay, that scene happens, back, take 2, take 3. Just the pacing of that second half of the movie, very fun, exciting. Well done.
Yeah.
What about you for, we already talked the ending. I guess why I didn't give this spectacular a little bit higher is I think it could have ended a dozen ways. I like the way it ended, but I'm almost like, ooh, would I have liked this way more? If I could play God with this script, ooh, it's the plot's so well done that it left options on the table. And I'm like, ooh, that would have been interesting if they toyed around with that. But still, no complaints about it. But
I like the less ambiguous ending for this movie more. I would not have liked it as much if it was more ambiguous. It was, as I was talking about before, of most of this movie has you questioning what's real, what's not. I like that the ending does have a say, rather than, and it's the opposite. If the movie is intentional and you think you know what's going on, that's when you hit the audience with the ambiguous ending. You go, oh,
yeah,
what? I thought I had it all pieced together, and now it's ambiguous. That I think is a really one, because then it makes you start to question back through the movie again.
Wait a second.
But if it ended with another ambiguous ending, it would just be one more. It's not anything special. It's like, okay, yeah, I've been questioning up until this movie, and now I'm still questioning. And okay,
that's why
I would not have cared. No, but
that's why I like. You get the answers of the psychiatric thing. So it's the flash forward. You get the answer, and then the whole mask thing. One of the endings that could be is you get the answer of, okay, this did actually happen. Now the ambiguous ending is, who is it though? It's like you get like that all was real. That did happen. And now the question is it Rumi or is it Mima? And that could be the debate and the interesting part. So you get all but then here's the thing too, the less ambiguous ending, like the more, hey, cut and dry answer that I also liked just as much as the ending we got was this all being in her head, a delusion and her acting this out.
Oh yeah, at that one point the movie could have ended with just
if that movie ended there. Yeah.
The TV show is actually real.
Yes. Yeah. The movie ending there also, I would probably even give the plot a little higher too. Like that was a great ending for me too. And the ending we got still really great ending. But this movie effectively made me go, oh, there's a lot here. I would have loved to be in the room as they were like they probably like threw out so many things at the wall. This seemed like a fun movie to write.
Yeah.
It's But that's where my head's at, because I know we've mentioned that a couple times, but like, oh, it's just the ending part's got me thinking a lot of.
It's the fact that this is a puzzle that can be put together.
Yes.
And by the end, that it does make me go back through the film and all of the roomy connections of how, of course, the actual mastermind behind all of this was Rumi.
Yeah.
She had the access. It's the difference between knowing a puzzle piece can be solved versus like someone just throwing you a bunch of puzzle pieces and they don't all go to the same puzzle.
So the movie Him.
Yeah, where it's like
our first review.
It's not supposed. There's a difference between a puzzle that's never meant to be put together and it's never meant to be put together. So you have a bunch of puzzle pieces and you go, what's the point? What's the point in trying to even put this together when it's not supposed to?
Yep.
Versus a puzzle that is supposed to go together.
Yeah.
It invests you in doing it. That's why I like the non-ambiguous ending of like, I feel like, oh, this is a puzzle to be put together versus ambiguous ending going, oh, okay, it can mean whatever I want. I don't care.
And there's the thing too of maybe it's a little bit of the dialogue, which this is going to be another translation thing if this is originally in Japanese, and a stylistic thing with animes in general that I've noticed through watching animes is the more it tells a lot.
Sure.
And that's just generally what happens in animes. So, okay, for the next 20 seconds, spoilers for Taxi Driver. But if you want to skip 20 seconds, quick thing. But the ending of Taxi Driver, where you get the little tilt in the mirror at the end.
Yeah.
And okay, that's you're good now. Okay, that thing in Taxi Driver, which gives you the answer, but doesn't tell you the answer, is even a little bit of a. It's not an ambiguous ending. It just shows the audience what the answer is without telling the audience what it is. By the way, I don't like Taxi Driver, but it is a well done, like it's a well crafted movie. I understand it's a masterpiece. I don't have to like every masterpiece. Okay. I get it though. But like that scene of why that, so again, maybe it's a little bit of that with the ending of I'm real. I'm the map. 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 I'm like, what? Wasn't this a psychological thriller?
Yeah.
No, but that's probably just more like anime translation as well. But still, 4.25, really great.
Yeah.
That's just me nitpicking.
Well, you want to move on to filmmaking?
Let's do it. Filmmaking.
What'd you give this category?
Another 4.25, really great.
I also gave it 4.25, really great.
Yeah, this is
benefit of it being, something about the 90s animation, anime style of like
so cool
hand drawn stuff. It looks nice.
The menacing music was the best.
The music was fantastic. Just sound design of I was shocked. Absolutely shocked of that boom the CD player, the boombox in the elevator scene. How they crafted that sound up, it sounded like it was not too loud in the theater, but it sounded like it was supposed to be too loud and sounded distorted and off. Like it sounded
curious too, because our movie was remastered. So do you think they remastered that to work better?
Oh, I don't know.
Because maybe it sounded different originally. Maybe we have to remember we watched the remastered version.
That's fair. I don't know. I was just impressed with this one.
Yeah, this one definitely. Yeah.
I may that honestly that may be something I look up. I may want to hear it again because it was just with the style of it. You could tell it was a boombox that was like with a lot of older speakers. You can actually crank the volume past its recommended limit, and you can overload it where it sounds distorted and off. And that's what was clearly done. So well done. That was so creepy.
That was.
And then the rest of the music is just creepy vibes. And I loved it.
It was just a couple notes they played too. Yeah. It was just a couple notes.
Music was fantastic here.
Awesome background music. And then the shots, as we were talking about earlier, where we get the trains flying by, her reflection not being her. Also cool transition scenes of her asking herself in the script, like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Or sorry, her asking herself in the bedroom or something.
Who are you?
Who are you? Who am I? Or who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And then it cutting to the scene where she's playing the role, saying, who are you? So cool transition scenes between cool pace of the movie and bringing you from one scene to the next. That happened a couple times with other lines that were being said as well.
Oh yeah.
I liked all that stuff, and you got kind of cool fantasy elements of the fading away of Rumi, of hopping across the light posts in the middle of the night, and you have some of the more famous scenes, which this is where Black Swan, I know, just took scene for scene with some of them, of the hallway scene where you have Mima walking by and you see the stalker in the distance. That hallway scene, there's a reason I guess Black Swan took after that as well. Just very cool design all around.
Yeah, a standout scene for me that I really enjoy just because it threw me for more questions is the elevator scene itself, with how you see the boombox. The door closes, opens, and the screenwriter's dead in the elevator. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, is this? Did we just cut to the television production?" Like as it was panning back out, I was expecting to see cameras of they're filming, because they did that before where they cut to a murder, and it was part of the television show. And so this, I'm thinking, oh, did we cut back to the television show? And then realizing, oh no, this one's actually real. This is actual real murder. It's just incredibly well done.
Yeah, that's where Harry was saying it has the everything ever all once cuts. And not spoiling the movie at all, but you think the movie ends, or you think that, and then, oh no, we're still going. Yeah. The one, this took off 0.25 for me. Okay.
Yeah.
This bothered me unnecessarily.
Okay.
The first, the opening scene where the rabble rousers cause a scene and they're throwing cans. Then we get a pan up shot of all the cans being thrown. There were hundreds of cans being thrown from the rabble rousers to the crowd. I was counting, going just for a second, like, where are they getting all these cans from? But it didn't actually bother me. It's just some of the anime style's cool to see, where you get a lot of the still images of hair moving, but everything else still. You kind of get these pictures. You were saying when we were discussing after the film, the whole Kubrick line of
every frame a painting.
Every frame a painting. You get to do that.
Yeah.
Literally every single...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the advantage of animation sometimes.
Yes. So yeah, very cool. Very cool overall.
Yeah. I really enjoy this type of stuff where there's some disappointment in... I remember I saw a trailer for like One Punch Man season 3. Don't know when it's coming out. I remember years ago watching season 1. Gorgeous animation. Holy crap, like, knocks your socks off of. It looks amazing.
That first episode is one of the funniest things.
It's one of the funniest.
It's so funny.
It is disappointing how it's nothing but downhill after that. It really is.
The first episode peaked for me.
It did. There's a couple scenes I think that
then
are
you
like
have episode 3 or 4
cool.
of the 1,000 push-ups or 100 push-ups. That's a great one. Yeah.
But yeah, then the funny thing is, like, season 3 looks like a bunch of JPEGs.
Oh,
it's mostly just images and then moving the image. Like, it's not animated.
It's not.
It's JPEGs with voiceover.
Oh,
it's bad.
That's some budget cuts.
They're all budget cuts. Oh, it's so tragic. I'm so saddened to see. And so,
damn it.
I say this with I like some of the 90s anime style. Like, my favorite anime is tied between Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I guess I'll give the 3. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Silent Voice, but my favorite for style, and like this blows all of them past, is Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is one of my favorite looking aesthetics ever. Like, just animation style.
I have to see that.
Perfection. I also just love the music. The music is perfection. I want more of that, please. I wish.
I gotta watch some Cowboy Bebop, I guess.
Cowboy Bebop is fantastic, brilliant, and not only. We'll talk later about it. There's some fun things of the fact that it didn't do so well in Japan originally. It was doing okay, but then as they went to United States, basically they had more free reign with the dub, and they can kind of do more with it. They were allowed to edit more of the scenes. They could take creative license, which elevated it. It made sure that it actually translated well and just didn't come across as awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So the dub is actually amazing.
Nice. I know a lot of people will stand for Studio Ghibli as being the most beautiful, and those are some beautiful looking films. And then my favorite stylistically and one of my favorite movies, period, is Your Name. And that, both the music in Your Name by the Red Wimps, or Red Wimps, I always say them wrong, and, sorry, I'm probably still saying it wrong, and the look of it is brilliant. Oh, even they had that same director had another movie called Suzume, which is still a fine plot and good movie.
Haven't seen that one yet. Gotta see it.
It's fun. Good movie overall, like solid plot. Theme is about Japanese earthquakes. I won't get into it, but just the Red Wimps go and play their songs, and so the music and the visuals are so cool. But
this all loops back around to I really enjoy the 90s style animation personally. There's a certain charm of it that it feels a little bit gone today in the modern animation era.
Your Name was like 2016, so that's not on point of this being the 90s stuff. Yes. I was going. Yeah. I
just wanted to bring up of like Cowboy Bebop is 1998, and
this is the same time as this. Yeah,
same time frame. I love that. I love that style, that era of animation.
All right, dialogue and acting. What'd you give that out of 5 stars?
Yeah, I gave this one a 3.25. But this is the one with the heaviest grain of salt. For the most part. One already, it's a sub, so we're already going to come across the challenge of translation.
Yep.
So there's already that factor. Acting wise, trying to connect the voice to it's just going to be difficult. So I would take our opinion on that with the grainest of salts.
Yeah, I give it a 3 stars, neutral.
Yeah,
neutral on this. It's subbed in. It's hard to tell. What's the original. How if we knew Japanese, what would it be like? Mm-hmm. But just for face value of what we get, a couple of the scenes that stand out why I'm more neutral is, for example, the agent in the car saying, "These murders are not connected whatsoever. What do you mean?" And some lines like that. Again, more of the telly stuff. This again more stylistically with anime, but we have our main character Mima in her room instead of toiling around with stuff and the viewer being able to put together, oh, this is happening. You'll have Mima voice over or say out loud to herself what's happening to her. Or it'll just be very clear in the dialogue, which it's fine. Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't like that style as much as same as you. So it doesn't bother me too much because I know it is a stylistic choice that we're just not used to, but I don't have to like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
And the acting, I wish I could enjoy it more. It's just a problem with sub versus dub, and I know most people on that debate go like, "Oh, sub is always better," and
I am on that side of sub. I want to hear the original.
Here's the thing:
voices.
It's like sub is almost always better than like most dubs because most dubs are just improperly translated, normally worse.
Mm-hmm. But then you come across Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, it's a really good dub, like a properly done dub, is better than any sub, just because like you actually can connect with the acting. Normally, dialogue's translated a little bit better, more thoughts put into it, and you can just connect with it better.
Yeah,
so that's what I personally enjoy it, but so I'm wondering if there's a dub for this one. I would imagine so.
Oh, but I bet there is. It's been out for over 20 years, yeah.
I'm wondering if with the remaster they give a dub.
Maybe, yeah. I would like to see the not remastered, see if that scene's the same with the recorder boombox.
I do want to look that up and see if that scene is any different.
Yeah.
But
I bet the scene's the same. Just how is the
sound?
Sound, yeah.
The sound design, was it altered?
Anything else, Rich, for this review?
No, but hey, really great.
Yes.
Really great film.
we're both correct because we have the same rating.
That is
At
true.
the end of the day, it's a certified 4.25 on
Yep.
the real
score.
The real rating. The
real
real score
rating
is a 4.25.
Yeah.
Your highest ended up being was plot, right? And then I see that. And then the biggest ones overall, I think throughout this film discussion, I'm confident we're right. Not we're right. After the discussion, I'm confident about my opinion on it. I think I'm right there of even discussing the film. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this was
because what we should do at the end to see if our ratings change. Maybe we make that a new thing. Of like, what's your overall? I think I'm going to stick at a 4.25. I think the categories, I think I'm going to stay the same with all of them too. If anything,
if anything, I would maybe bump Thought Provoking a little higher. Like, you know what? Just for the sake,
because we had a good discussion with that.
We had a good discussion. Give it a 4.25.
Oh, sweet.
Really great as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick, but for now on, we should look back and see if we change. That's a good addition.
Yeah,
you just saw here live. We just switched up our video style a little bit. We're gonna. Yeah, that's a fun thing to do. I think
so.
Did you have fun? Did you watch Perfect Blue? Let us know what you think down below. This was another real review. We'll see you later, I guess, next episode.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.